What is going on, fella? This is Soubhadra and I welcome you to Debit Credit Nation. So today we are going to talk about write-offs. What are write-offs? Whenever we sell something to the customer and even after due date, if the customer doesn't pay back, that is known as write-off. So let's see in FICA how can you use the write-off functionality using the standard out-of-the-box SAP's own solution without any enhancement. So here in this Excel you can see that there can be two kind of write-off in SAP. The first one is the traditional one is known as FP04 or FP04M, where we write off the date. So what happens in case of FP04? So first we post the invoice. When we post the invoice, our accounting entry is customer debit revenue credit. Now if we run the FP04M or the write-off, then the accounting entry that we pass is bad debt debit and customer credit. So what happens? This customer debit and customer credit gets knocked off. So the open item gets fully cleared after this write-off that we perform via FP04 or FP04M. Now what happens? Since this debt is fully cleared, so suppose a $100 debt is fully written off as bad debt. Now it may happen that this out of this $100, say $40 is recovered. So whenever this recovery happens, our customer line is fully cleared. We cannot post the recovery and we cannot post the payment to clear the invoice because the invoice is already cleared via the bad debt. So in that case, whenever such recovery happens, what we do, we enter that entry as bank debit and bad debt recovery credit. The only problem with this accounting is that although the customer which has paid, I cannot post that entry to that customer's own account. Instead, the entry, the recovery, we have to pass it to GL to GL, that is bank account debit and bad debt recovery credit. Nowhere I can credit the customer account. This is the one way of doing it, that traditional one which has been done by most of the companies, most of the consultants. Let's talk about the new one. The new one is known as value adjustment. So what is this value adjustment? Value adjustment has this principle that we can post the bad debt and the bad debt will not clear the customer, so that my invoice remains open, and later when we recover some money from the customer, we can post the payment and we can clear the invoice. So in this case what happens? Invoicing entry happens here. Now whenever we want to write the bad debt, we will not credit the customer. Instead we will credit something else. So this is known as provisioning or allowance for bad debt. So in this principle, we don't write off it as a bad debt. Instead we create a provision, assuming out of the 100, say there are different customers from whom I need to collect $100. Now we are assuming that say 60% of the customer may fail. In that case I will write off the 60%. So in that case my accounting entry will be, my bad debt will be debited, but my credit will be provision for bad debt. Now in this case what happens? The entire amount I may or may not write off as bad debt. So here we are not writing off it as bad debt, we are creating a provision or we are creating an allowance, assuming that a part of it may go bad, because the entire 100 amount will not go bad, because there are some good customers who will pay me back. Say I assume that say 40% of the customer will not pay. In that case we will post this entry 40 bad debt debit and 40 provision for bad debt credit. So in this case my customer remains open. Now if the customer makes a payment, my payment can be bank account debit and I can credit the customer, say $25 is paid by the customer. Out of the 100, there are some good customer which may pay this $25. So whenever this payment happens, I can clear this payment with my invoice. So this is the benefit, that even after writing off it as a bad debt, I can still recover money. Whenever I recover money, I can clear my open item with the recovery amount. Okay. So this is the concept. In this concept we call it as provision for bad debt or allowance for bad debt. This is not the real bad debt. Now client may want to create a provision for the entire $100 or create a provision for a percentage. Mostly the client will come up with this requirement. So it says that if an open item is overdue for more than 90 days, then I will write off 20% of it as bad debt, and if the item is overdue by more than 180 days, I will write 30% as provision, 270 days 40% as provision. Similarly, when it exceeds 1080 days, that is it remains overdue for 1080 days, then I will write off the entire 100%. You can write off in the first shot itself based on your client's requirement. Say your client says that whenever it crosses 90 days, I will write off the entire 100%. That way also you can configure your system. Now the system that I am going to show you here, I have configured in such a way that if an item is overdue for more than 90 days, then I will create a provision for 20%. More than 180 days, I will create a provision for 30%, and accordingly I have configured my system. So currently my open item is 100. So I have posted an open item. Let's go to the system and I will show you how much is posted as open item, and then we will see this value adjustment functionality. So I am in the account balance display screen, and here this is our customer 834. When I get inside with the all open items, I can see that a $100 invoice is already posted, and this invoice is due on 16/1/2023, that is 16th of January it was due, and today is 17th of September. So it is due for around 8 months. Okay, the customer has not paid. Now in this case I can run the FP04. In that case the entire $100 will be reversed with the bad debt, or which you already know, or we can go ahead with the new approach where I am going to create a provision assuming that out of this 100 some amount the customer may not pay. So my customer's name is John Snow. So John Snow has purchased goods from me worth $100. I am assuming that, so it's been due for more than 8 months. I am assuming that a part of it may not be receivable, may not be received. That is, John Snow may not pay a part of it, but the rest maybe I can expect that the rest will be paid. So for value adjustment, first we will mark it as doubtful, and after that we will do the value adjustment. So go to the T code /o FPRW. This is the first T code. Then I will copy from an existing variant. I will copy and create a new variant. Say I'll call it IVA1. This is individual value adjustment. Okay, IVA1. Here I will replace my business partner with the ones from the previous variant. So 834. Next I will change it deferred date to today's date. So today is 16th of September. Sorry, today is 17th of September. In this system it is still 16th. So let's go with 16th of September. Technical settings and log. So always check this right turned on. That way it will tell you that which document has been value adjusted. Okay. So before I do the value adjustment, let me open my document. So this is my open item, $100 open item. So you see, under payment order there is nothing. Once I do the value adjustment, you will see a section, a segment here. Okay. So let's go ahead. So with that I am going to save, and it is not the simulation run, so I will schedule program run. Okay, it is completed. Let's go to the log and go to application log, and here I will see that. So it has found out that there is one document that needs to be value adjusted. So it says that it is going to do the value adjustment of 30%. Okay, the entire $100 will not be value adjusted, only 30% will be adjusted. Why? Because this document is due for, it falls under this range. Okay, so it is due for more than, so 180 days means 6 months and 270 days means 9 months. So it is at 8 months, it is overdue by 8 months. So accordingly, so it falls under this bucket. So more than 180 days but less than 270 days, so 30% of it will be value adjusted. So this is the marking. Here it has been marked for value adjustment, but the value adjustment is not done, that is the provisioning is not done. So once this marking is done, you can go back to the document and you will see that a new segment will be created. So I'm going to refresh the screen and entering the document one more time, and when I go down I see item is marked as doubtful / individual value adjusted. So when I go to this correction box, it will tell me that this is this $100 invoice and 30% will be marked. So it is marked but not yet posted. So once it is posted, I will select and I will click on the posted totals, and I will see that how much is posted. Since it is not yet posted, that's why my posted is blank. Now once this marking is done, next I am going to post it. So for posting there is one more T code. This is FPRW, the next T code is FPRV. So here I am going to post the value adjustment. So it says transfer post adjusted receivable. So this will post a financial document. This financial document will be posted. So in this case not 40, 30 will be posted. okay, because it falls under the 30 bucket. Again, you can do the value adjustment for the entire amount, you just need to change your config, okay. So we have configured this way, that's why I am showing that only 30% will be value adjusted. You can do the 100% value adjustment as well. So with that, again I am going to copy my previous variant. I'll create a new variant, say here I say IVA1, IVA1. Now the previous one was for marking and this one is for posting the financial document. So I'll replace the master data. I'll just change the date to 16. Check this individual value adjustment, rest all are fine. Now with this I am going to save, and without the simulation run, that is the update run, I am going to schedule program run and hit OK. So it is running. Now the run is complete. Go to the log and click on application log. You will see that out of 100, 30 is adjusted, and after this adjustment it has posted this document. Let's open this document. This is the document. Just remember, this is not a real write-off, this is just the provision for the write-off. That is, I am assuming that out of 100 I may not get $30. That means the other 70 is correct. So let's open this document /o FPE3, and here you see this is my accounting entry, bad debt debit, provision for bad debt credit, not the customer credit. So ideally when you do FP04M, you enter bad debt debit, customer credit. Here we are doing bad debt debit, provision for bad debt credit. This is in India we call it provision, in US they call it allowance for bad debt, okay. So again I am assuming that out of my 100, 30 will go to I may not get 30 back, but I am expecting the rest 70 I will get back. So once this entry is posted, let's go to FPL9, and here a financial posting I can see. So go back and do the refresh. So I refresh and I open the document. My document is still open by $100, okay, no change here. So here on the bottom of my screen I go to the corrections. Here I see $30 has been adjusted. I select and click on the posted total. Here it says that $30 has been adjusted. So in my Excel I will write out of 100, 30 is adjusted. So you see this orange part of this pie chart has been adjusted. This rest blue part, that is a $70 which is unadjusted. So I am assuming that I will get back this $70. Only I am doubtful about this $30. Again, this is not real bad debt, it is a doubtful debt, that is it may go bad or it can be a good debt as well. So in this case, that is I have, so as I told, I can do the adjustment for the entire 100, but here as per the requirement, so since it's fall under this bucket, I have done 30% adjustment and the rest $70 is open. Now the main purpose of it is to keep the item open so that we can receive some amount. Now let's say the customer pays back $60. So once the customer pays back $60, then what will happen? So out of 100 my value adjustment is 30, and out of the unadjusted, that means out of the good debt of $70, say the customer pays me $60. Now when this happen, there will be no the normal posting will happen, but this adjustment will not be impacted, okay. So first let me show you this part, then I'll show what if. So whenever I receive the 60, that does not mean bad debt recovery. Why? Because this 70 I was expecting that this 70 I will get back. So here out of the 70 I am receiving 60, that means I still have my adjustment amount untouched. So let me first collect $60. So I will collect $60 against it. So I'm going to use the FP05, say IVA1, first payment. So I'm collecting $60 against the document number, this one. Now let's go to the open item. The open item should now become 40 because out of 100 we have collected 60. So I do refresh, it says I have $40 open item, okay. So every day the value adjustment jobs will run. Now again, after collecting this money, when I run the value adjustment job, it will not post anything. So let's run the value adjustment one more time. Now if I run the value adjustment, say I call it IVA2, save, and I schedule program run, refresh, go to the log and go to application log. So So cases already transferred one and it did not post any accounting entry. Because why? Because I am suspecting that there will be a $30 of bad debt and still $30 is open. There are actually $40 open, 10 from here and 30 from here. So till now whatever I have assumed that is going to be my bad debt, it is still bad debt. Now the customer, suppose the customer pays $20. Now when the customer pays $20, what will happen? Paid and open. So here when I make the payment of 60, my open item is 40. So this 40 is still greater than 30, so no value adjustment. Now I am going to make a payment of 20. Once I make a payment of 20, my open item will become 20 now. That means from 100, first we collected 60, open item is 40, that's fine. Again I collected 20, now my open item becomes 20. That is, I have assumed that I am going to there is going to be a bad debt of $30, but now out of the 30, $10, this is the bad debt recovery. Now whenever there is a bad debt recovery, I have to do some adjustment to the provision. This is my provision. I have assumed that 30 will be my doubtful debt. Now after this payment, my doubtful debt becomes 20. That is, out of 30 I have to reduce 10, because I assume 30 should be my doubtful debt, but now my doubtful debt remains at 20 because out of the 30, 10 is collected. Okay, so first let me post this $20 payment quickly. Now $20 is collected. Okay, so my FPL line will have a balance of 20 because out of 40, then 20 is paid. Now whatever we receive, the $20 that we receive, out of this $10 is bad debt recovery. Okay, because we assume 30 will be bad debt, but now my bad debt amount is 20. So this time the value adjustment will post an adjustment document. So let's go to my value adjustment. Again, value adjustment will run every day. After the second payment, that is the payment of $20, I will again run value adjustment, that is in batch it will run. So I'll just copy and I'll create IVA3. So after the second payment, I am running the value adjustment. Save and schedule program run. Let's go to the log, application log, and I will see this 10, the 30 we adjusted, out of that my open item, my bad debt remains 20 and 10 gets adjusted. Okay, so the accounting entry, you will see this is my accounting entry. If you refresh and get inside, go to the corrections. Now I see 30 becomes 20 because 10 has been received. So select and you click on posted totals. Here you will see initially we did a adjustment, or we assume that 30 will be my bad debt, but now 10 has been recovered. Okay, now so the benefit is, if I would have written it off, whatever payment we are collecting, that would not appear in my account balance or in the FPL line. But here with the help of this provisioning or value adjustment, I can still record or still clear the open items with the payments. Now out of 100 that we expected that 30 will not be received, now only 20 is left. Now let's say this 20 is never received. So now this 20 is never received means now I am considering this 20 as bad debt. That means after a threshold days, say after 5 years or 6 years, we are assuming that this $20 will never collect. Now I will write it off as bad debt. That is the old school. So /o FP04M, this is the old school. This time it will be fully knocked off, no open item left. Okay, /n FP04M, this is your you know the screen write off. So I'll just copy from a previous variant. I'll call it WO1. 834, this is 300713. Everything remains the same. Date I have to change to this date. Okay, save, and without simulation I will schedule program run. Now I expect that my open item of $20 will be written off. So application log. So this is the clearing document. Now this time my open item is cleared, that is, this is a real write off. So if I go back to my FPL 9, I would expect that there is no open item left, because as I told, write off will clear everything, so I don't have any open item. Now if I go back and run with all items, 306, this is my document number. Out of the $100, 60 is cleared and again 20 is cleared, and the rest 20 has been written off. This is all about value adjustment. The documents that are posted from value adjustment are GL to GL entry. For example, this is the entry, bad debt debit, provision for bad debt credit. This is simply GL to GL entry. So this entry you will not see in your FPL line, but it will hit your FICO. So when you do the GL transfer from the recon key, this recon key will go to FICO and it will hit the bad debt GL and the provision for doubtful debt or the bad debt allowance GL. Finally, the amount that is not recoverable, that item we did the actual FP04M bad debt, and rest we did value adjustment. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for bearing with me. If you have reached till here, thank you, and hope you like our video. Please let me know in the comment section below if you want any special cases in FICA. I will definitely create a video. And also, as you know that I run the FICA trainings for the 35-hour implementation program. If you want to join, please ping me or contact the number that I have mentioned in the description. Thank you so much. We'll see you again.